Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you how I create viral content on Instagram, in particular Reels, but also talking about my process for creating feed posts that seem to be doing quite well and how I've grown my following on Instagram from 0 to 5,000 followers in just a couple of months in 2021 and 2022. If you are new here, my name is Ciara. I'm a third year PhD student in Dublin, Ireland, who's studying machine learning. And on this channel, I like to talk about all things related to being productive while doing a PhD. This video, I suppose, is quite different to other videos that I've made because it is more around this sort of content creation advice. And I have a few sort of videos talking about YouTube, but the reason that I wanted to share this here is that I feel like a lot of people here want to do some sort of content creation with regards to their PhD and might be interested in starting a specific PhD Instagram account or a science communication Instagram account, and might be, I suppose, nervous getting started with how to do that and not really know maybe what the best process is. So I wanted to just share with you what my process is and what my experience has been so far. I started this Instagram completely from scratch in September. I think it was September 3rd. Since then I have been creating Reels and also some feed posts, not too many, but I will actually be creating more and I will explain in a second why that is. But so far I have 45 posts. I have 8 of those are feed posts and the rest are all Reels. And I have had a few Reels get viral for me. I'm not really sure what counts as viral anymore, but I'm considering anything over 100,000 views viral. But even, to be honest, it's whatever you think, but the most I think I've had is somewhere a little bit over 400,000, which to me is just insane because my most viewed video on YouTube has 70,000 views, I think. So the first time anything hit 100,000 views, it was just sort of, it's just when it's something that takes a minute to make versus something that takes hours, it was just, I don't know, it's a bit crazy. Anyways, I'm going to be talking you through my whole process. I'm going to be filming and batching some Instagram Reels in this video so that you can see what my process is and how I go about making this content. So just as a guideline for this video, first I'm going to be talking about making the account, why I made it, all of that kind of thing. I'm going to be talking about my general tips for creating Reels and Instagram posts. And then I'm going to be taking you through my process for creating Instagram Reels and creating Instagram posts, what I do, and that's pretty much what you're going to be seeing in this video. So I chose to create a new account rather than rebranding an old account because, well, actually, to be honest, I had tried a couple of times to rebrand the old account and it had been unsuccessful. My reach on the old account was absolutely terrible compared to the number of followers I had. It just wouldn't, my posts just wouldn't be shown to my followers, and I found that I wasn't getting very good engagement. Whereas this new Instagram account that I have, the engagement is really, really good. And just to give a sort of sense, I have this sort of recent feed post, which I sort of thought feed posts are probably a waste of time. They're just sort of there. No, sorry, not that they're a waste of time. Feed posts I thought were very valuable for providing some sort of value to followers, and so that people who are there will see not just funny videos but like something that's actually useful, and that they will stick around more so for that. What I thought it was useless for was for actually being put in front of eyes. So I didn't think that Instagram posts anymore would have a good reach rate, so they wouldn't really reach that many people compared to an Instagram Reel, which could go viral and see hundreds of thousands of views. Now, I've recently corrected my point of view on this because a recent post that I made, which was just me sharing my reason for doing a PhD in 2 very quick carousels, it's still growing, but it's received nearly 20,000 impressions, which is basically somebody actually seeing the post. And 12,000 of those have been from the Explore page on Instagram, which to me is absolutely insane because I don't think on my other account I've probably ever gone on the Explore page. And it reached 2,700 out of about 45 of my followers, which is again huge to have reached about more than 50,000 or more than 50% huge. And it reached 15,500 non-followers, which is crazy. And so far has had over 100 follows from that post. I just think that's mental. Like, really, I do. I don't know how much even better that post is going to do, and it's something that was so quick and easy to make, and I'm going to show you how I made it. So I definitely was nervous starting a new account, especially because I had actually got a decent following on my old account, and I just felt like starting from scratch would be really, really, really hard. And it definitely was, it definitely still is, but I really wanted to create a new account to go with my brand, especially when I've got my own paid products now, to be able to have somewhere else to promote them. And also I think another way is to just be able to connect more. So I think on Instagram, because you have stories and because you have Messenger, you can connect a lot better than I find on YouTube. There's a comments, and I love when you guys comment down below, but it's a lot harder to get to know people. And I find that I definitely get to know people better on Instagram, and I'll have a lot of people on Instagram now that I talk to regularly, like that I know are subscribers and followers of the YouTube channel because I've seen their comments. So that was sort of the reasoning behind creating the new account. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, especially because moving followers from one platform to another is really difficult. So I think it's hard to get people to subscribe to your YouTube channel if you're on Instagram and you already have a big following. It's hard to get people who subscribe to you on YouTube to follow on Instagram. So essentially I was actually creating somewhat of a new audience, but the most dedicated people from each audience would obviously do both, if that makes sense. So it was starting from scratch, and I didn't expect to have a sort of huge following on Instagram being moved over from the YouTube channel. It very much was starting from scratch. So in terms of my Instagram strategy, so far it's been largely Reels, and I am going to be starting to do more feed posts now. And that is in two categories. First of all, static posts, which would just be sort of a single post, or maybe like one or two, or carousels, which would be more informative typically. So I think for me, my strategy is to use single posts for like a quick tip or like a quick thought, or like asking a question and starting a discussion. And then the carousels would be more for sharing, sharing something on a larger scale. So like a process, how I set goals, my review of a book, for example. Those types of things that require more text and more explanation would go through on carousels. So I did film the how I create these posts a little while ago. So first thing just to think about is niche on Instagram. So what is the niche you're targeting? Is it going to be specifically around your research? So for example, if my page was all about computer science, which you'll see it's not. I do have some posts that are more specific to computer science. Mine is more specific to PhD students in general, which means I do have a wider audience. And one thing that I think is really important when you're creating Reels on Instagram is showing people straight away what your niche is. So telling people this video is for PhD students. If you are scrolling through Reels and you see a random video from a random person and it doesn't have PhD or PhD student or something PhD specific up front straight away, people just go straight past it. So I've noticed with a couple of Reels that have done better versus worse on mine is if it doesn't necessarily look like it's for PhD students straight away, that it doesn't do as well. Whereas ones that say straight away something to do with PhD publishing, something like that, straight away they just do better. And they will go to people more because people will see it, they'll know it's for them, and they'll keep watching, possibly like, comment, follow, and that's really important for Instagram to see. So these are just some tips that I would recommend if you are starting off creating Reels specifically on Instagram. First of all would be to post Reels frequently. The more frequently I've posted them, the better I've been doing overall. I think you can post obviously as frequently as you can handle. I wouldn't say to be doing anything more and taking away from your PhD work, but as you'll see, I batch my Instagram Reels, so I don't feel like it takes up a huge amount of time. So posting often definitely works well. Posting short videos, but not too short and then not too long. So between 6 and 15 seconds is usually the best. Always share your Reels to your Instagram story because all of the views that you get from your story will count as views for the Reel. Never delete a Reel. So one thing I've found is that you can have a Reel that does really badly when you first post it and then weeks later starts to do really well. And it can be really hard to look at the Reel that hasn't done well and all of the Reels that haven't done well in the beginning and seeing just, only 4 or 5 views or 100 views. But honestly, it is worth it to just stick with it and to just, I don't know, keep going, I suppose, would be the main thing. The other tip is to save your reels without any text to your phone. Whenever you make them, you can actually do that in Instagram without having to use any special apps or anything. And the reason is you can then use that audio and reel again. And you could also post to TikTok if you're using TikTok. I don't personally, but you could basically just reuse the same content. So for example, if I was making a reel with a specific audio and a certain text about a certain thing, but the actual audio and the facial expressions that I was using actually applied to another scenario, maybe like a month later I could use that same video and that same audio, but just change the scenario of what's in the text and what I'm talking about to then have doubled the amount of reels that I have in a way. The main tip I have is to really just follow the accounts that their job is to make videos about growing on Instagram through reels. So on Instagram there's Brock Johnson, I think his Instagram's Brock11 Johnson, Vanessa Lau and Maya Nichol. I'll have their accounts linked down below, but they're the best people. I follow them and I basically just go with that. What they say in terms of suggestions. They will be posting Instagram reels constantly, so you constantly will have new audio to use. I try not to follow too many people in the same niche as me, so in the PhD space, just because I don't think it's ever a good idea to use the same idea that somebody's used with the same audio. So I will scroll on Instagram for audio ideas and I'll write my own ideas, but I will never use the same ones that some other PhD student has used, if that makes sense. Even I find sometimes if somebody's just used the same audio in the PhD space, I probably won't use that audio because people have seen it. Even if it's for a different idea, I probably won't. I'll try and find audio that I haven't seen used in the PhD space. A couple of other sort of don'ts will be around text. So there is sort of a box when you're creating Instagram reels where if your reel is posted to your feed as well, the sort of top and bottom sections get cut off if they're on people's home page rather than on the reels page. So you never want to put your head or text in sort of those areas. And also side to side, I've noticed that some of the text gets cut off, but when you're creating the reels, there will be sort of a guide for where to put stuff that you can sort of follow. So those are sort of my quick tips around just general tips for creating reels. In terms of how I create reels, and I'm going to start doing that now, I basically have on my personal Instagram account, I will just message that account anytime I see a reel that I could use the audio from. I'll save the audio first of all, and I will send the reel to myself with a little message for what it could be for. So for example, use this idea for reviewer 2. So now that I'm getting ready to batch a load of Instagram reels, I'm just going to go through my phone, all of the different reels that I've sent myself, and see which ones could I do today in the next sort of half an hour I have really to get all of those posts done. So I'm going to be filming a reel now. I do have, in case people are wondering for things that you could use, I do have this Josie GorillaPod, which is actually quite good. This is really helpful for if you need to set up your phone anywhere, and I did use this for vlogging on my YouTube channel before I got my camera that I'm currently filming on. So this can be a really useful thing to have, because it means you just set up your phone like so, and it just gives you a bit more I suppose space rather than having your arm too close. It also means, like, I don't know if you noticed, but sometimes you can see people's hands when they've started the camera, and I feel like you can see that less when I use this. So I just film like this, and say that would be probably about the amount of time it usually takes me to make one. I'd say about 3 takes, depending on how long the audio is. And so I'll just keep going through my things and continue to make some. Every couple of videos I will change jumper just so that it's not having a ton of videos from the same angle as well. I'll try and change and just try and mix it up as much as possible. Just wanted to say a quick apology for the visual quality in the next couple of clips because I filmed this in early December when I had not realised that I was using my camera wrong, so the lighting is pretty bad. But I can't really refilm it just because this is when I sort of made the majority of my sort of static posts that you would have seen recently on Instagram. So you'll just have to put up with this for a couple of minutes. So I've been watching Vanessa Lau's video around posting on Instagram and stuff, and one thing that she suggests doing is going back through your captions and finding some short quips of useful information that you're providing that people probably aren't seeing because a lot of people won't read the captions, and turning those into single quote posts that look like they're sort of from a Twitter account almost. So that is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to just create a bunch of those. So first I'm just going to look through all of my captions, and then on Canva I'm going to put together what I want them to look like. So I already sort of have what I like my individual posts on Canva to look like from my account. So these types of posts, and some of them are like some of them are carousel posts and some of them are just single posts like this, and she has so stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Okay, so I just basically screenshotted all of my captions. They're just easier to work with than trying to go into all of them. So now I'm going to go back into Canva and start putting them into some posts. Okay, so I made the single template and now I'm just going to do that a bunch of times. Okay, so I just batched a load of those. I've done like 16 or 17 posts. So that's good. That means I've got like a good few posts ready to go, and that honestly took maybe like 30 minutes in total. So that's going to save me some time, and it means that template is there now, and like that was probably the thing that took the longest. As you can see, I have changed my clothes, so I have been batching. Sorry. So all of my batching of my content is done, and that took, I'd say, in total about an hour, which is about how much time I had in my calendar for it. So that is probably something that if you are thinking about doing Instagram, I would recommend, just because you can be in that mindset of filming the reels and you sort of start to get into a good habit of it, rather than I think the time taking to do an individual reel, if you were to put those pockets of time together throughout the week, like it would end up being more than just trying to do it all at once. So that's just my recommendation. A lot of people don't think batching is a good idea because it's not as current and up to date, but I personally think it works for me, and that's what keeps me posting regularly. So that's what's most important for my content. That is it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Obviously it was quite different for my channel. I don't think I could make content like this very frequently because it would definitely confuse the YouTube algorithm if I was sort of making a lot of content that wasn't related to PhD productivity kind of things. So someday maybe I'd like to maybe start a new channel where I'm just sort of putting all of the information that I've learned from starting the YouTube channel and having the Instagram account and having the sort of brand and the all the things that go along with that. I sort of would love to do that someday. Definitely something not I can do, given I can't even get that sentence out, definitely not something I could do right now. So let me know what you think of this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to all of my wonderful members, and I will see you all in the next video.